thank you for joining us. This is amazing to see. I'm super, super excited about this talk. Yeah, I'm very curious. I know as much as you do about the content, so I believe we're in for a beautiful ride. Yeah, so thank you for getting up so early to join us. And I just want to also shout out to our epic local partners who make this whole thing happen. All Good Oat Milk, 257 Space, Carla Craft for your name tags, Hype Entertainment, Andy. Sarah, who's our amazing photographer. Where's Sarah? There she is. And Faye, who's doing the beautiful drawings, Paper People Pixels. Also, tea, Libertine Blends, Coffee Supreme, delicious. Antipodes, Fix and Fog, Wellington Sourdough, absolutely lovely, just on Left Vancouver, and Six Barrow Soda & Co. And thank you so much for this incredible Creative Mornings crew, so much gratitude. Yeah, consistently, month after month, just, yeah, huge shout out to every one of you guys. I'm so grateful. And shout out to our global partner, MailChimp, which is how you get your emails. They've got a new article up, and it is about your next pitch presentation. So if you're an entrepreneur or a creative and you want to know how to make a great pitch, head over to the MailChimp website. They've got a new article on that. And also, feel free to bring a friend, you know? Like, the more the merrier, so we always welcome new people. That's our handles. If you want to tag us, please feel free to do so. And the theme this month is touch. All right, so touch, it was, I think, a theme chosen by Lisbon, and it was illustrated by Emma Lopes, and their description is: when we open ourselves to the ineffable, what cannot be transmitted through words, touch emerges as language unto itself. The grit of soil under our bare feet, the clay slip enrobing a potter's wheel, the sun-warmed fur of a beloved pet, these sensations can be healing. How we stay in contact with the electric matter that keeps us alive. What will pass through your hands today? So shout out to Lisbon for writing that beautiful piece on touch. And now I'd like to introduce Jolie Davis of Manawa Ora Mirimiri and Workshop. So please, everyone, welcome Jolie.
Oh, atamari e tātou katoa. I'm just going to dive right in because I'm aware we're just a little bit squeezed for time. 20 minutes is a short time for me, so I have to talk quickly. But yeah, right here. Okay. Oh, sorry, I moved. Here I am. So who am I? Called Jolie Davis, tōku ingoa. I hail from a little place in the far, far north on the west coast called Ahipara. Some of you may know where Ahipara is. I grew up there. My whānau originally is from Te Hapua, which is right up by the Cape, by Cape Ranga, which is a spiritually significant place to us as Māori and Te Ao Māori. So I'm Ngati Kuri, I'm Te Rarawa, and Ngati Kuri, we recognise ourselves as the spiritual guardians of that spiritually significant area. And here I am in Wellington. I'm sure that happened, but I seem to be getting further and further south. Kia ora, Charlie, I just see you over there. And I want to mihi to Tammy. Thank you so much for contacting me and inviting me along today. And the Popota whānau, all these people up here, this is all my whānau, my partner's whānau. It's his 60th this weekend. So, yeah, that's why we're all here. So, I just want to mihi to everyone, tēnei te mihi atu kia koutou, atamari e kia koutou. I am a mirimiri and a romiromi practitioner, and so Rongoa Maori is everything that encompasses our traditional healing practices. And what we practice here at Manawa Ora is mirimiri and romiromi, so it is traditional Māori bodywork and healing. So Manawa Ora is the name of our my business that I established about 8 years ago now in Te Arawa when I was living there. And it's a result of, I guess, my personal journey, coming from a place such as Ahipara, where Rongoa Maori is normal. It's a part of the environment. It's a part of our environment growing up. It's a normal part of the community, and it's our default in terms of self-care and well-being and what we do for ourselves as Maori. And it certainly was for me growing up. These days, not so much, because a lot of those practitioners and a lot of the people of that generation who were practicing then are no longer practicing now, and for whatever reason they haven't necessarily taught anyone. But I was very fortunate to be around people in my community. It was never my intention to practice Rongoa Maori, but I kind of landed in it through my own whānau, my own tamariki. Big long story I don't have time for, but anyway, I've kind of landed here. So a lot of my role as teaching is advocating for Rongoa Maori, and especially in these times where people are looking for alternatives and solutions when it comes to well-being and healthcare. I think a lot of us are getting a bit hoha with going to the doctors and getting medicated and getting drugs for your pain and things that really just mask the symptoms but don't really get to the cause of your disease or unwellness, eh? So Manawa Ora, we are actually based in Noa Hut. And there's a couple of practitioners here today. Gemma, put your hand up, and Chrissy, put your hand up, so you can ask them lots of questions and kōrero with them too later on. Next one. This is that video. We'll go to the next one. I wanted to mention, because I'm really proud of what we did in 2022. This was something we wanted to do and we went to the South Island when COVID was actually peaking there. Again, we didn't plan for that to happen, but this is the time that we went. As a team, we took Mirimiri round the South Island to Waipounamu, and we took a team of 10 practitioners, and we had 9 community clinic days, and over 18 days we treated 950 people with Mirimiri and Romiromi. We got a lot of really positive feedback about the results that people got from a little bit of treatment. It was only 20 minutes that we did for each person, but those 20 minutes for a lot of those people was life-changing. That 20 minutes got on top of a lot of their physical, emotional or mental issues that they've been struggling with for weeks, months or years. And we're really proud of that, showing the effectiveness and the benefits of the treatment that we do in a short period of time. So those are the places we visited. And it was just our way of advocating about making Mirimiri, Rongoa Maori, Romiromi accessible to communities, and particularly in the South Island where there's not a lot of mātauranga understanding or very few practitioners down there as well. We did this on our own backs. We didn't have a lot of funding. We didn't get any funding for it, actually. We all took time out of our own busy lives and our jobs to do this as a team because we're passionate about what we do. Especially those 2 ladies over there, super passionate about what we do. Why? Because we see how it changes people's lives. Okay, next one. So that's us there. That's the team that went down the South Island there. We were on a mission to heal whānau and communities, to normalise and raise awareness of Rongoa Maori, and to build our capacity as Kaimiri. And so we're finding this year that since COVID has happened, that there's a lot of priority, a lot of awareness around people's, well-being. They're looking for other solutions. We're hugely aware that we need to take care of ourselves, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and most importantly, spiritually. Because the main cause of disease, from my perspective as a Rongoa Maori practitioner, is disconnection. Disconnection is the main cause of unwellness in society now. And particularly for Māori, when we're disconnected from our whenua, our reo, our tikanga, our whakapapa, all of our traditional practices, we become unwell. And that is why nowadays it's quite common knowledge that we're struggling with our health. Māori are highly represented in all the health stats, and incarceration, all the social issues that we're facing now. Māori are really struggling, but there's a renaissance to claim back and to reclaim our mana as a people, and it starts with our traditional practices are the last things that we are reclaiming. It's te reo, it's tāmoko, and now it's Rongoa Maori. Okay? Next one. Yes. Kaimirimiri is a mirimiri practitioner. So at Manawa Ora we have our permanent clinic in Lower Hutt. I also run training and workshops. We run the 2-day workshop. We had one recently last weekend where 40 people attend that to learn what I call the foundations of Māori healing and bodywork, mirimiri, but also to learn about awareness, the philosophy that underpins our practice that can be applied to your everyday life. This is for anyone, not just Māori. We have a lot of non-Māori who come. And we also teach people about hauora. What is hauora? What is well-being from a cultural perspective, from a te ao Māori point of view. And it's actually very different to a Western model of what it means to us in a Western model to be healthy. We run the community clinic days as well. And that's a really good way to make what we do accessible to people. You know, not everyone can afford to come to our permanent clinic. Not everybody has that disposable income, and more often than not, they're the ones who need treatment more than anyone else. So our community clinic days is a way to kind of plug that gap a little bit. And one day we can treat up to 100 people or more, and this is with a team of up to 16 practitioners on the day. So it's like bang, 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 20 minutes, experience it, see what kind of benefits you get from a short treatment. And if you want, come along to our permanent clinic later on. We have 12 practitioners. I have 4 full-time kaimahi working at Manawa Ora currently, and another 8 that are working in our clinic developing their practice. So our clinic is not just about treating people, it's also about building practitioners. We work in an open space. It's never a one-on-one thing, hardly ever. And this is traditional, this is tikanga to us as well, because it's collective healing. What we do is collective, and it's way more powerful when you have that support in the room, whether you're whaiora, whether you're a practitioner. I want to know as a practitioner that there's a whole lot of other practitioners that have my back if anything goes down, and the same for whaiora. So it takes a little bit of getting used to, especially for our whaiora who have referred to us. They may be suffering from anxiety, for instance, or they've been in a system, in the ACC system, where your issues become very kind of secretive. You know, there's a lot of patient confidentiality. And at Manawa Ora, we try to kind of remove that barrier, because it is a barrier to healing. If you're keeping all of your pain, all of your mamai, all of your historical trauma on lockdown, how can you possibly heal? So we encourage people to be open in a supportive environment. You're going to get much better results for people that way. Yes, and she's moved on to our clinic. There's a lot of things that make this different, and what I want to stress always, all of the time, is that mirimiri is not massage. Who's had a mirimiri before, like a real mirimiri? You have, Charlie has, some of my popota whānau have. I think they took a while to kind of get over it. But you know, it takes you a while to get used to it, because people's expectations are just built on what they know. And often what they know is physio and massage. And if you're comparing mirimiri to that, you're going to have a bit of trouble, you know, because it's very, very different. As practitioners, we understand that pain, trauma, cellular memory even, which we acknowledge in te ao Māori and always have, cellular memory is a real thing. All of this stuff is held at a very, very deep level in the body, very close to the bone. So you're not going to find it there if you're having a massage. You're nowhere near where your trauma, your pain and your mamai resides. You have to go deep. And the people who taught me, Papa Joe, Manu Kore Whā, I mean, they worked deep. They literally worked on your bone. They cut through all the soft tissue, went straight to the bone, because that's where the trauma resides. And often it's older than you. Often it goes back generations. So it can be a historical thing. You can be carrying that yourself. Okay? We work in an open space. We give people what they need. I'm not a Chinese takeaway. Don't come in ordering off a menu. That's not how we work. We're the practitioners. We diagnose what you need and we give you what you need. It may not be what you want, But if you knew what you wanted, you wouldn't be in that situation in the first place. So allow us to do our job. I remember a lady who came to our clinic a couple of years ago. She was highly anxious, and Rob saw her walking down the driveway. He gave me a heads up, and so she walks into my room. She bursts into tears, and I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? I haven't even done anything. And you're standing there crying. She's big. She's like this tall. She's crying. She's so anxious. And she said, I'm really worried. I've heard about you. I've heard about how painful it can be. I just need to know that you're going to give me a safe word. And I said, you are not giving a safe word. No, you're going to do this, or you're not going to do this, but you're here today, so let's do this. But you have to trust me that I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this a long time, so please trust me. And she did. She found the courage to trust me, to kind of ease into the process. It was painful for her, but guess what? She came out the other side of it. She felt really good about herself. She was empowered by that process. And that's how it should be for whai ora. It should be empowering. What we try to do is to get you back in the wheel of your waka, in control, empower you to take control of your waka and reclaim your mana in terms of your life and where you're at and where you're going. Because there's too many people out there who are really dependent on practitioners to always give them the answer, to always prop them up, to always catch them when they fall. And sometimes you've just got to take those training wheels off and just push them down the hill. So that's what we do at Manawa Ora, but we do it in a safe way. Because they always know where we are, they can always come back to us, okay? We treat the person, not the diagnosis. This is something else. People come with a rap sheet, and they insist on giving it to me, and they insist that I know all about their medication and all the diagnosis that they've got from every other practitioner in Wellington, which is why they're so confused. They don't even know what's going on with themselves anymore, and they're popping all these different pills for different things. And I'm like, look, we just need to tap out of that for a bit, and let's engage in this process over here. Okay? We allocate practitioners on the day. You don't get to pick and choose. Unfortunately, you get who you get, and it will be the right person for you on the day. Maybe a different person every single time. We use natural tools such as seawater as a very important part of our practice. We believe that tangaroa, who knows who tangaroa is the atua of the ocean. But we know tangaroa, and Hine Moana, who is the female counterpart of tangaroa, is the atua of healing. Why? Because we are made up of tangaroa. We are 80% water, not tap water, not sea water, not creek water. Tap water and creek water. We are made up of seawater. Saline, you know, we're made up of that water with all the minerals and all the salts in us, and we actually come from the ocean. We know that in our history, eh? So it's an important tool that we use. We use kohatu, we use rako, which is special stick sometimes. We use papatuanuku, the earth. We get people to lie on the earth after they've been worked out. It's the most natural thing to do. Why? Because they're releasing. They must release everything back to Papa. She is the mother. She is where we come from. And when we can, rongoa, our herbal medicine that other practitioners practice. You know, ideally we'd do that if we could. We sing a lot. We sing a lot. We always have music going. No, we don't have dolphin and whale music playing. We're not dolphins. I know we come from the ocean, but we're not dolphins. So if you come to our clinic, Stevie Wonder, Mary J. Blige, House of Shem, you know, it's music that's going to energize us and you know. Yeah, it'll distract you from whatever we're doing on the table too. But we need to energize ourselves as we're working and keep our energy high. And when our energy is high, the work becomes easy. We went around the South Island, honestly, and worked 950 people. At the end of that tour, we were energized. We could have done it all over again. And people did not believe us. They thought we'd be tired. They thought we'd be drained. We just wanted to get back on the ferry and go back again, eh? So the work should energize you. If it's draining you, you're doing something wrong. If it's draining you, you're giving people what they want and not what they need. That's the bottom line. All right? The energy needs to now come from you because you don't have that spiritual support when you're actually engaging in a healing process. Does that make sense? If you're doing that, you'll never get drained by the mahi. Cool. Next one. Oh, I'm zooming through this. Wow. This was our last workshop that we held just last weekend. I thought I'd throw them up. They're very recent. See, I've got my blonde hair there. And I've got Jem to thank for my hairdo. Very gifted hairdresser, amongst other things over there. So we had people who came even from the Hawke's Bay and from up north to attend this workshop. We get people coming from England, from Malaysia, from the States to attend the Manawa Ora workshop, because there's very few people who teach a traditional practice the way I've been trained, from people such as Hoepa Delamere, Manu Koriwha, who have sadly now passed. But luckily for us, as Māori and as people, they taught hundreds, and I believe probably actually thousands of people all over the world. If you go to Germany, now, if you go to Holland, you will find Romi practitioners there, and they're really, really good because they were taught by the best. Okay? So what we're teaching here is the foundations. It's about raising people's awareness. It's about reconnecting them back to mātauranga again, and giving people the tools to start reclaiming their mana over their own well-being. And this is the thing that we need to understand. Healing starts here. Well-being starts here with you. There's too many people, you know, who's got friends who are social workers and mental health workers and health workers. You know, they're doing some great stuff out here in the community, in the hapuri and with whānau and stuff like that. They're doing some fantastic work out there. But at home and with their own health and well-being, it's not so great, because they're not starting here and going out from there. And as practitioners, we understand that. Start here, clean your own whare up, take good care of yourself. Healing moves out to others. Energy moves out to others. That's the natural way that energy should move. Take care of you first. And here's some pretty pictures of workshops that have happened all around the motu over the last couple of years, actually. Rotorua, when I was living there for 8 years. Kapiti, we've run quite a few there. We've been down the South Island to Queenstown recently in Christchurch. And a couple of years ago, I was in Australia doing the rounds there before COVID hit. I haven't been back since. But there's a huge need for it. People are hungry for the mātauranga. They're hungry to learn how to take care of themselves and to learn about hauora from a cultural perspective. It's very, very different. My background, I might add, I'm a trained nurse. So I nursed for a time. I worked for Northern DHB for about 6 years. And then as a practice nurse for a time in Tikipunga before moving to Te Arawa. And that's when I realised, that's where I started to see the clash with my own philosophy, how I've been brought up, and mainstream healthcare. You know, it was just starting to clash more and more and more, to the point where I realised I've got to step away, I've got to tap out of this. I don't believe it's working for my people. So I came back to this and what I know, what I've always known. All right, so we've probably had hundreds and hundreds of people attend our workshops by now, and I'll continue to run those. They're a real important part of raising awareness and giving people the tools to take care of themselves and their whānau. Really important for women, for wahine, to understand that. You take care of yourself, you heal yourself, you heal your whānau. And I've had a personal experience with that myself, you know, thinking, oh my God, my son, he's so sick, he's so unwell, running around getting diagnosis and different treatments and trying all sorts, when really the hara, the issue, the problem lay with me. And when I corrected that here, my son became better. All right? It really, really does work. And so we, even to this day with our clinic, we get a lot of wahine who dragging their kids in for us to treat them, and we look at the child and we look at the mother, we go, you know what, that child is okay. There's nothing wrong with your 12-year-old or your 7-year-old. You're a mess, you get on the table, and get some work done. And when we work out mum's stress, everything calms down. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. So please, mums, come and get yourself sorted. Papa Joe always said, look, give me the woman, I will heal the world. Let me heal the woman, I will heal the world, because he understood the importance of healing wahine, because we are the ones who carry the whakapapa. The women are. we are the ones that carry the whakapapa, so it's so important to take care of ourselves. Is that yes? Hey!
Like, I love that. That is fantastic advice, and like, what a beautiful note to end on. Thank you so much. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah, thank you. I have a question, if that's okay. We'll come in a little bit. Actually, did you want to be in the spotlight? So I'm curious as to what the Mirimiri involves. Is it like, how is it different to a massage, and like what can I expect if I walk into your clinic?
Well, you can expect manakitanga, you can expect whanaungatanga, you can expect kaitiakitanga. So all of these are our guiding principles, and it starts from the minute you walk through the door. Yeah. And that's what people probably talk about the most, is the environment that they're walking into, how they're welcomed, and how we care for people as a whānau. We do that as a whānau. But in terms of what we actually do, it's a lot deeper. I mean, we have massage tables, but we can work people on the floor, we can work you sitting in a chair. We use our own body weight, we use our hands, we use our elbows. We can get on top of you and use our knees, and we tend to do that with people who are bigger. But at the bottom of the day, it's a lot deeper. It's a lot deeper. We may use taku taku, which is traditional form of prayer or acknowledging energies through taku taku. We'll use that to kind of help you release things emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So it is a holistic practice. It's not just us doing something to you. You know, we understand that Maori is life force, life essence. So if we connect with someone Maori ki te Maori, my life force connects with your life force, that's where true healing happens. It is holistic, but it's actually a very physical practice as well. So yeah. I guess the burning question on people's minds is, do we get our gears off? No, we do it through your clothing. Please don't. You know, some people, they come and they get to the table and they start stripping off. I'm like, don't do that. Keep your clothes on, please, please. You just lie on the table with your clothes on, and there'll be other people in the same space, and we're all in the same boat. But yeah, it can be, if it's your first time, it can take a bit of getting used to the pressure and the depth that we go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, it really sounds like a mind, body and soul experience, and one of those things you've got to actually experience to know exactly what it's involved. And I love what you said about like filling your cup first before you can give to others. And yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to come and share this. So yeah, give it up for Jolie.